to
Tell you
about
what.
1997.
Everything I
This is the
say
Labour Party's party political broadcast now.
is becoming
As
more
you
and
can
more
see,
correct.
I'll just leave this playing in the background. It was a different time.
It's only
I've muted
Vaughan
it
Blair.
because the song that's playing is, of course, D.
Doing Vaughan
Reed's
Giles.
Things Can Only Get Better.
Yeah, things weren't
and
getting better, it's getting worse.
This is the kind of cheesy, old world style that we used to have before Tony Blair took over. There is the man himself, and in fact I'm going to skip forward there just so you can see how this ends. Someone's going to the poll and they're voting, and it's Blair himself.
He's voting for himself.
Do it, signed Tony Blair.
Yeah.
You doubtless, you would vote for yourself, wouldn't you? But anyway, so Labour won that, and won with a significant margin as well. For some reason I can't move forward for
This one. Nope, that doesn't work.
They're not working. Right, okay. So this is on the BBC website. bbc.co.uk. Politics 97. I love that a lot of the image links is broken at this point. So this is from the old internet, right? So for any youngsters out there, this is what the internet used to look like.
Brings back memories.
Geocities pages and things like this. But this is a BBC report, as you can see, on the election.
And to me, this is what the internet should still look like, frankly.
I can see why it doesn't.
Look what they took from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see why it doesn't still look like this. Because it is.
Because it's corporate, it's homogenised.
It is now.
It's been gay-opped.
It's been made slick and shiny, user friendly. It used to be absolutely hideous. This isn't even an archive. This is just on the BBC website right now. The direct link is just to the BBC website.
Gorgeous.
It's amazing. But anyway, I'm going to read out from this, just because you can see the tenor of the reporting as well, right? As dawn broke over London, the Labour leader addressed the cheering crowd of Labour activists at the Royal Festival Hall. The British people have put their trust in us. It's a moving and humbling experience. We have been elected as New Labour, and we will govern as New Labour. Boy, didn't they just. For the Conservatives, the result is a disaster. A record 6 cabinet members have lost their seats. Michael Portillo, Malcolm Rifkind, William Waldegrave, Michael Forsyth, Tony Newton and Ian Lang. Brutal. It's half the cabinet has got slaughtered in this. John Major, who was the former Prime Minister at the time, said, Tony Blair inherits a country in extremely good economic shape. Can you even imagine having a country that was in extremely good economic shape?
Well, I was 1 when this happened.
Yeah.
So,
we will have to regroup. To be in opposition as a party is an honourable way of life. We will look back with some pride at the changes we have made to our country in the last 18 years. So, as you can see, this is coming off 18 years of Thatcherism, and Britain was in a much better economic state than it is now. Just when it comes to sort of people's prospects and the way, the raw GDP was probably lower because we hadn't crammed in 15 million foreigners into, the power box in London.
Everything I've said.
But people felt like they had more money. People didn't feel like the future was going
back in
to
the
die.
90s.
I'm sure in real terms, GDP per capita would have been
Possibly higher. I didn't even think to check, to be honest.
potentially better.
It's more the sense of the environment, because at the time you had a kind of social movement called Cool Britannia. The Spice Girls and Oasis and Blur, and really lots of cultural exports. And everyone felt quite confident for the future, which is what Tony Blair rode in on. Because John Major, stodgy, grey, conservative, he was the old way, right? But this is Cool Britannia, this is the future. We're building a better Britain here, folks.
Can't get worse. It can only get better.
Only get better, exactly. Definitionally so. Do not hear the song, right? And notice that John Major's like, well, we'll look back with some pride, we'll regroup, we're going to be vigorous opposition. You can feel how genteel this is. No one's screeching that the other person's a racist yet, right?
John Major's still alive, isn't he? Bloody hell, he is, and he's 82 years old.
Yes. So
And
he's even more desaturated than he was when he was young.
That was,
I don't remember last time I heard about John Major having any major complaints about where this country has gone since Blair.
Well, he was complaining that things are starting to become more right-wing.
Of course he was. The thing about the thing because of that always makes me wonder if things would have actually gone any different. If things would have gone a different way if Major had stayed in as Prime Minister, if the Conservatives hadn't had a major loss, or if
better if Major had lost in the 90s.
Yeah, or if we'd just be in the same place.
No, to be honest with you, there's a kind of prevailing zeitgeist that Tony Blair rode in on. We'd probably be in the same place.
I think the same.
Yeah, rough.
Because although in the 90s, as you say, people weren't as crazy as they are now, all of these things took decades to build.
Well, the trends are still there. In fact, I'm going to read another quote from this article, right? Quote, Labour also made history in other ways, with the first Muslim MP and the first gay man to declare his homosexuality before being elected to Parliament. Isn't that hilarious? Like, yeah, we know that most of the Tory party is gay, but they declare it after they get
They kept it behind closed doors, at
exactly.
least.
But you can see
It was more tempting that way.
but it's exactly the same
They
rhetoric.
did probably find a bit more of a thrill in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but 30 years ago, it's exactly the same rhetoric. They've made history. The first Muslim MP and the first openly gay MP being elected to Parliament. Isn't this just historic? Isn't this just the right side of history? See, so this is why Stellis is probably right. The same thing was happening then. It was just, the avalanche is rolling down the hill and growing bigger and bigger as it goes. The Tory party chairman, Brian Mawhinney, told the BBC that the British people had decided it was time for a change, and what a change it's been. In his victory speech, Tony Blair said they had a real sense of pride in creating a Labour Party capable of offering a vision of renewal that our country needs. I won't let you down. And my God, didn't they? I can't use that, can I? Right, so one of the things that we learned in 2009 is that the Labour Party decided that they were going to throw open the borders. The era of mass migration begins in the early 2000s with Tony Blair's New Labour. And they did it specifically to make the country more multiculturalism and, quote, rub it in our faces. Andrew Neither, the former advisor to Tony Blair, Jack Straw and David Blunkett said that the huge increase in migrants was partly due to a politically motivated attempt by ministers to radically change the country and rub the right's nose in diversity. The point, he says, I remember coming away from some discussions with a clear sense that the policy was intended, even if it wasn't its main purpose, to rub the right's nose in diversity and render their arguments out of date. Oh, well, that's great. I love having my nose rubbed in it by the newly elected government.
Are our arguments out of date or completely vindicated?
Well, no, but the thing is, it did render the sort of conservative arguments at the time, which were very weak, out of date. But the thing is, the amount of immigration that has happened has also rendered the Labour Party's own arguments out of date, as Morgoth pointed out.
Well, I mean, depending on which Labour minister that you were listening to, there was... in Douglas Murray's book, Strange Death of Europe, I've seen a lot of people posting about this recently because I'd forgotten that he mentioned it. There was that minister, I think, was she just in charge of immigration, Barbara Roche, who was one of the people to really help the Labour government the new Labour government open the floodgates, where she had explicitly said that she felt more comfortable in a multicultural London.
Well, they definitely created a multicultural London.
But Carl and Harry, I think what is interesting here is that it's also the Tories right now who are taking that sentiment.
Yeah.
So it's not just the Labour who had the same goals back in the past.
Oh, yeah.
They thought that it wasn't yet the time to come out.
Hang on, Tony Blair captured the Labour Party with the installation of Cameron, right? So the Conservative Party. So the Tory Party had a choice. They could go into sort of base right-wingness or gay left-wingness, and they chose David Cameron, so gay left-wingness. And as you can see, like the world that they've created, I mean, it's just spectacular, isn't it? Like,
Ilford is basically Pakistan.
yeah, this is the UK that they have manufactured, and this is a great summary of everything, right? You've got the old English guy trying to fix up the plaque of Sir Admiral Edward, whoever, I don't even know who that is, and coming out of the door is just some ghoulish foreign woman. Why is she even here? But you can see like the COVID managerial signs on the thing. Oh, watch out for COVID. The government is always watching, and the general sort of dilapidated state of the country.
And I love the replies that this one got, because I saw this one when it got posted like this. This guy here just basically saying, one of my favourites you've posted in a while, like admiring it like it's a piece of artwork.
It is a piece of art.
Yeah, it kind of is.
It is. And again, like you can just go through this whole account just to be like, yeah, this is the country that they've created. And so the question is, well, what's happening now? The New Statesman, for example, asking, is Blairism still the future? Are the Blairites still the future? And it's like, how could they be? They are the past. They are the people who have made the country as rubbish as it is, this is all a product of Tony Blair's complete capture and the kind of New Labour zeitgeist that swept through the country beginning in 1997 and progressing until now. Because, of course, the current Labour Party is exactly a product of that. And the thing is, as well, the New Labour, the Labour Party, this whole zeitgeist, is going to crash in the same way the Tories did in 1997. Half a dozen cabinet members are going to lose their seats, just like in 1997, where half a dozen cabinet members lost their seats. The wheels are coming off of this thing. The zeitgeist of the country has shifted. It's like, right, okay, the potential energy that was expended in the Labour government, the new Labour government, has run out. And so now they are at the end of their tether. They're like, right, we've done all of the same things over and over and over and over, and it's producing absolutely atrocious results. It is producing a country that is dilapidated, that is impoverished, that people are fleeing and have a kind of general tone of disgust towards. Because, I mean, if you read through this, the general tone was one of just quiet sort of nobility from the Conservatives, and everyone was just kind of like, yeah, Britain's quite good, we're quite happy, everything's functioning relatively well, and now the country is just disgusting and filled with strangers, and everyone can see it. And so they're like, well, are they still the future? No, you're the people who created this terrible state of affairs, uncontested. There's no one else that you can pin this on, in fact. So the question is, how quickly can you be wiped out and gotten rid of and relegated to the dustbin of history? And so you then have, where are we? So the issue that they have is that they can see that the wheels are coming off this completely, right? And this is a Labour MP, and sorry for the bad language, but I'm going to play this from the newsagents, where they are desperately struggling to try and find a reason as to why things are terrible.
I'm going to put it bluntly, crudely. Are things shit?
Yeah, I think lots of things are pretty shit, and it's why you need a government with the determination to unshitify it as quickly and as radically as possible. And look, if you talk about from a polling perspective, I know what the consequences will be if we can't start to show real progress on this in the next few years. Nigel Farage could be running this country. Think about the devastating consequences of that man running this country, breaking more things than he fixes. That's going to happen unless we can start to get more money into the pay packets of working people. We can stop those boats crossing the channel, or significantly get the numbers down. When people go and smash up their local co-op or ATM, nothing seems to happen. We need to fix that problem and the petty crime problem. People feel like their local communities are looking worse, looking more run down than they used to. And whenever you interact with a public service, it doesn't seem to work.
So isn't that
how to show progress on those issues?
And that's how parties in opposition normally speak, isn't it? When you don't have the power.
Yeah.
But you do have the power now. Labour does have the power. So, I mean, has this year been squandered?
So, I'm going to pause it there, just because that I think, summarises exactly the problem. Right?
The narrative is we haven't been Blairite enough.
Well, I don't even know if that's even the narrative. Because Blairism is the waters in which they swim, right? So I don't even think they can name exactly what the issue is. But look at it, it's like everything is terrible, and we need to make it unterrible as quickly as possible, but all we can do are the same things that have made it terrible over and over and over. And we have no plan, we don't know what we're going to do. And I mean, look how nervous and out of sorts this guy sounds. And Emily Maitlis is like, well, hang on, you sound like a party in opposition. It's like, yeah, because you kind of are in opposition, because the machine of Blairism, all the quangos, all the extra governmental and bureaucratic organs that were set up, yeah, they're all moving forward. And Keir Starmer's been like, hang on, we can't keep doing this. Like, sorry, this is the plan. And so now they've got to be like, all right, we need to stop all this. We need to make a change of some sort. But they don't have anything they can change because they're completely constrained within their own paradigm. And so what can they do? What are their options? They don't have any options, actually. And I think this is why they're posting things like this. I mean, again, these are the sort of old guard from the Blair era. John Soper was thrilled when Sunak was out, as if Sunak was substantively different to Keir Starmer in any way, shape or form. But now, the political ineptitude and mismanagement of this is epic. The Whip's office, Downing Street, DWP should all be hanging their heads in shame. Truly disastrous Keir Starmer, because they just can't do anything. They're committed to the moral and political paradigm of Blairism, which is radical managerial liberalism. And it's got to the point where, like,
We have a Labour government, we've got three.
here you have Rachel Reeves crying in the Parliament. Look at that tear rolling down her face. When Keir Starmer is trying to argue about his benefits cuts or something, some nonsense. Again, all problems that were created by Tony Blair's government, exacerbated by the Blairite Conservatives, and inherited by Starmer.
Are you sure this is why she's crying?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you think she's looking at her Messiah?
No.
It
That
does look like she's got like some unrequited love for
No,
Keir
yeah.
Starmer going on here.
I'm not.
no. What this is desperation in the Starmer bunker, right? Because they have a very specific set of political tools to use.
What have you done, Keir?
And one of the thing is as well, you got to remember these people are true believers, right?
Yeah.
These people are younger than Tony Blair. They grew up in the shadow of Tony Blair, and they looked up and were like, yes, we're going to create the perfect Britain. This is the New Britain project. We're all in on this. We believe in the unlimited, unfettered reign of human rights. We can bring this into existence, and it's all crumbling in front of their eyes. And so in Parliament, she's looking at Keir Starmer, yeah, we were going to do it, Keir. We were going to make the utopia. And the tear rolls down her eyes, but there's nothing they can do. And so what comes next? Well, not Nigel Farage. He will be the next Prime Minister, I think. But even he understands that he is actually containment for the Blairite project. Right? Even he is, in his most honest moments, an avowed anti-racist. Nigel Farage has made it clear over and over and over he actually completely supports the international liberal project. He actually is one of those people who says, oh, no, I will not have any truck with those, far right types. And he gets offended. He's mortally wounded when he's not treated as part of polite society and called a racist. He hates it, right? I mean, this is a direct quote from him. Farage hopes that young men will turn to him to give them a voice, because if you don't, wait till what comes after me. Those who tried to demonise me could be in for a terrible shock once I'm gone. That's why we say we believe that we are the last chance to restore confidence in the democratic system to change things. Well, what does he mean when he says the democratic system? Because it's not like elections are going to stop. We'll still be voting for people. It just won't be a liberal democracy. It won't be a Blairite democracy. It'll be a democracy voting for people who are further to the right than Farage. Because almost everyone in the country is actually further than the right to Farage. So this is just the latest thing that Restore Britain have posted. And
Like this.
oh yeah, it's very good. It's very good. But you can see how this is in direct opposition to the Blairite project. Right? No, the human rights of the criminal come first in the human rights lawyers Blairite project. No, not anymore. Right? The traditional, and notice how ethnically particular this is. An Englishman's home is his castle. Yeah, I don't care what the opinions are in Spain or in Holland or whatever, but in England, if someone breaks into your house, I'm going to effing kill you. Right? That was the traditional, historic opinion of the average Englishman, and still is.
I mean, one of the big benefits of abolishing things like the use of reasonable force to defend yourself from a managerial standpoint is the fact that, if you're not able to defend yourself legally, if I've made it illegal for you to defend yourself, well, I guess you can only come to me, the state, with now a much more rigorously enforced monopoly on violence. So you're going to have to let me into your home to oversee and make sure that you're safe constantly.
Correct. And if people are allowed to take this kind of executive action in defence of their own homes, then you can see how the state's power wanes. I don't care what the state has to say. When someone breaks in, I'm going to kill them.
If you've got control of something in your own personal or private life, that's one less place where the managerial state can shove its nose.
Exactly. And it's also the telos of the paradigm of human rights to try and essentially make it so no one is really a criminal, right? Because even the criminals have human rights. They are just the victims of society. This is why Keir Starmer let out a bunch of, murderers.
I mean, the criminals all have a backstory, Carl.
Exactly.
Haven't you watched Aladdin?
Exactly. They're not really responsible for their own agency, and therefore, actually, the real people who are the problem are the people who support the system. The tax-paying, law-abiding citizen is actually really kind of responsible for the criminal themselves. So this is why all of these people are, in fact, more important than you are. And as you can see, I mean, Farage would never sign off on this, right? He would never sign off on this. It's way too based. And then the next thing is, of course, restores net negative immigration. As in, immigration has to go down because we need to get some of these bloody people out of our country. Right? That's what this is about. This is